Alrighty, welcome to round 4, everyone. We are getting started here. We've got ChickenArise on the bottom of your screen. We've got Ambivalent Thoughts up at the top. Ambivalent Thoughts kept a hand of 3 power, a Giral, Flash Fry, Kenna, and the Speaking Circle. That hand just shows you what this deck is all about right there. It's got like every key piece.
Threat, removal, early removal, mid-game threat, late-game finisher. And on the other side, ChickenArise has a hand of cards that I cannot see because Telvoco says stop sharing the screen with me.
Yep, they've got a Giral, Speaking Circle, and 2 copies of Kenna now, which is pretty sweet. And, oh, yep, let me get that fixed up.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Now I can see the game. Okay. It looks like Flash Fry hit a Daru Lee on the early turns, followed by a Jarl to hold down the fort. Now, notably, a 1-3 is good against a 2-1, but Mavel of Huntress is good against everything.
Turns out, if there was any surprise about Mavel of Huntress being good, it is definitely a sweet card here. Attacking in first with the 2-1. You also got the Argos technique, so chump check.
Yeah, well, not just that. I mean, it's it does. Well, I guess it's actually probably a pretty good attack, especially if you want to just play a
great attack.
Yeah, might as well, right? You get in for an extra 2 damage this way.
Yeah.
If there's a block, you can use your combat trick, and of course, if you don't, even if ChickenArise didn't have the combat trick, they should attack because they know Ambivalent's a good player. They know that their deck is full of, a bunch of combat tricks, right?
Unfortunately, Ambivalent Thoughts missing a power there, and then missing again. They've got 4, 4, 4, 6, 6, 6. Ouch.
How many Kennas are in hand?
2 Kennas, Helio, 2 Speaking Circles, and Torgov here. But here comes Seek Power. Man, at this point though, it's almost too little, too late. Like, yeah, you Seek Power, you still can't cast anything this turn. Is this lethal?
Well, there's always.
Oh, not quite, but almost lethal there.
There's not even time for the Speaking Circle to equalize out.
Yep. Not even time for that. So here comes the salesman himself, but that's not going to be enough. ChickenArise has plenty of options to deal with that.
And sorry, I've just sneezed like 4 times in a row, so I'm having to mute myself on and off.
No worries.
Pardon me.
Ambivalent Thoughts has no option. They're just going to pass it back. ChickenArise, I believe they can. Well, I guess they can't Argo Stun plus any of the combat tricks. But yeah, they can just Martial Efficiency here.
Shrink down the Torgov, make their main bluff bigger.
Yeah, that should be able to do it there. Yep. Heads up again by ChickenArise. Well played to navigate that. Starting off 3-0.
Some of us in the business call a Skull Apex maneuver.
I don't have an emote for Skull Apex Stormblast.
I got you that time though. Every time I said Skull Apex maneuver, you've never reacted once, but that time I finally.
That's true. You did finally get the reaction out of me.
You've been very impressive at never reacting to my absurdity, but I got you this time.
Well, I attend the BK school of don't react to LSV's terrible jokes, so I haven't quite gotten my degree yet, but I'm being taught. All right, here we go. We're ready for game 2 of ChickenArise versus Ambivalent Thoughts here.
Well, speaking of great hands, I don't know who's speaking of great hands. I guess I was, but turn 2 Dovid into Mavel of Huntress. As stated, the interaction of the Janitor with Mavel of Huntress is really powerful because by imbuing the stats onto the Maveloft, you then get to protect the stats in combat and not have the negative downside of its Entomb effect.
Yep, that's a very, very sweet synergy. When you have 2 good cards that are just really good on their own, but also synergize well together, it's a pretty good start. They also have Vow, and they can play out the Seat Depleted on turn 1, which is nice. Don't have to have that hurt you next turn. Primal Symbol for Ambivalent Thoughts. Here comes the Janitor.
Notably, one of the upsides to a deck like this with deck like Ambivalence is that by playing a bunch of killer effects, you kind of play around Bubble Shield. You play around some of the combat tricks, right? Because if the opponent plays Bubble Shield, Ken is still allows you to kill it. Unlike if it's
Yeah.
Finest Hour, where you can't kill her into a Finest Hour, you can kill her into a Bubble Shield.
That's
Of
true.
course, the difference is that there's no way for Ambivalent to know what the combat trick is, whether or not it is a Bubble Shield or an Argos technique.
All right, here comes that Huntress. As we mentioned, gonna get that synergy with the Dovid. No attack there. No attack
I
with
believe
the janitor.
Ambivalent has Lightning Strike in their deck, right? I believe that's what they were playing around. That has
Yeah,
to be it.
they have no Lightning Strike in hand, but they might have in deck. They also have Vicious Overgrowth, but that's obviously not a fast spell. But yeah, playing around Lightning Strike, I guess there.
Yeah,
I guess that would be a pretty big
hey,
blowout if that got Lightning Strike.
yes, especially I guess there's no Lightning Strike though, so I don't know. But if there was a lightning, let's say there was a lightning strike, then you would even stop the viewing of the stats, right? So.
All right, attacking in with the Huntress. This can be a good turn. You've got Janitor David the second. Plus, you can play out another Huntress.
The special Grenadin friend. The special Grenadin friend off Crafty Occultist. Well, you did your job, special Grenadin friend. You did your job.
Power not as bad as last game for Ambivalent Thoughts, but still a little bit awkward. Have a clan standard here in hand. You can also have a primal etchings, but you can't play the Torgov this turn. Yeah, you can only play one spell. I guess you can play primal etchings into a spell, but can't play the Kenna. Can't play. It's awkward. You don't have the second fire. It's just.
Of course, that's the downside is that Expedition has some worse power in it, right? And you're taking some risks, right? This deck's only playing nine power in the main deck plus 2 Seek powers as a way of getting your second fire source. So, but of course, there's only so many cards that require fire in the deck. In the market, there's Permafrost, Mortar as sort of the main targets for etchings this turn.
So this is an interesting play here. So something that I'd have to look at that again. Well, no blocking there from the Temple Sheehan, but one way to turn off the Reckless is to imbue with Maveloft Huntress. So I was about to congratulate Ambivalent Thoughts on pretty heads up to play your Maveloft Huntress so you don't have to attack Occultist into the Sheehan, but no blocks anyway, doing the Huntress before attacks there. But going to be able to take out that Dovid pretty easily. ChickenArise going to attack. Maybe ChickenArise wanted to stick the Sheehan around to give their units flying because banking on Ambivalent Thoughts not removing it for a while. Well, there's a flying shock troops. That's pretty good. And a bubble shield to protect it.
But Ambivalent did not hold. Sorry, ChickenArise has by playing the shock troops that turn. They're not holding up martial efficiency this turn.
That's true.
And you did say that Ambivalent does have Kenna in hand, so we'll see if Ambivalent takes the opportunity to play Kenna and maybe go after Dovid again, right? Do you really care if the units have flying if you're going to be playing multiple Kennas?
So they did have Kenna in hand, but I believe that they plundered away the Kenna. Remember, they didn't have 2 fire. So
that's right.
So I think they plundered away the Kenna to get the second fire. I may have missed that. Chat, you can follow that chat because I didn't see that as well. But I know they plundered last turn, and I know they were stuck on 1 fire, and I know the Kenna's gone. So A, B, C means that they plundered away the Kenna most likely.
How many cards are in the void for ChickenArise? It's just the 1, right?
2.
2.
Now this shock troop is going to be huge.
This martial efficiency is going to be a blowout. You could even you could do a lot. I think. So one really interesting play you could make is you play Hooru Vow, right, and then you do whatever you want with it. You play Martial Efficiency amplified once, and you don't put it on the Torgov. Then you attack with Maveloft Huntress on Torgov. Maveloft Huntress dies, and then you could play this Iron Thorn, right? It becomes a 4/4. I don't remember exactly how that card works. Yeah, so then you can play a 4/4 and then set up for the future, spinning to make other 4/4s in the future. Or you could just keep the Huntress alive. Either way works pretty well. You can either make an Iron Thorn Chancellor for the future or keep your Huntress alive in the present. So there's sort of multiple ways you can go right here. But I think you got to go for the martial efficiency, killing Torgov, attacking for 1 billion this turn.
Mm-hmm. All right, here come the attacks for ChickenArise.
Just attacking. Well, you're potentially letting. You're sort of letting
taking the block that's there. I think
I mean, you got blocked.
I think Ambivalent Thoughts is saying, well, like nothing I can do to stop this, so might as well block.
Yeah, I think I'd rather just martial efficiency pre-combat, right? You don't need to get you get more damage in this way if you martial efficiency pre-combat, as well. But I think this was sort of fancy play syndrome, right? Because you're like if my opponent blocks, I can get him with combat trick, but like Ambivalent has to block anyways, right? So you're not really gonna get them.
Yeah, to be fair, that is a second level play. Thinking through using your combat trick before damage,
Sure.
pairing it up. That is a complicated play to understand that. So, I probably wouldn't see that one. Ambivalent Thoughts has the Vicious Overgrowth, the Clan Tactic, the Wisdom of the Elders, and the Permafrost in hand. The only other option is, can Ambivalent Thoughts afford to not block?
I mean, maybe, but I'm assuming
7,
they
8,
can't.
9, 10. You take half your life total. But then you have Clan Tactic, Overgrowth, and Permafrost next turn. My only thought.
Yeah, they chose. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, if you assume your opponent has the combat trick of martial efficiency, then you'd be taking, and then you go down to 4 life, and that seems no bueno.
All right, so gonna cleanly take care of that Torgov thanks to that martial efficiency, and gonna follow up here with a Maveloft Huntress.
Maveloft Huntress once again showing off stat line.
Oh, brutal. Also pumping up with keeping the pumped stat line from the martial efficiency. Gross.
Well, notably, there's no permafrost up right now. I mean, there's no bubble shield up right now.
That is true.
So you can get the clean permafrost hit off on the imbued Huntress.
Yep.
Which means that you basically take out all the stats, right? So it's sort of like a 2-for-1. Well, it's like a 2-for-2, right? Because they got their kill off with the killer effect, and you got the effect off as well. But of course, the killer effect only killed a 2-1. So your side of the deal is probably a little better. But you're at a very precarious life total, though.
Mm-hmm.
You're at effectively 7 on board in the air. Your opponent can killer your units. Killing the Shuffle Tion probably is a really good call because
you can't really stop any more flyers. Yeah, and this Clan Tactic, unfortunately, you got to bank on this Clan Tactic to take care of the shock troops, but Bubble Shield's going to stop that.
Well, I think what you might do this turn is, again, you can go for this Huntress line of Huntress, killer the 1/1, and then play a Chancellor Ironthorn or whatever its name is to get a or you can just attack it this way, I guess. Also works too, to get tribute. Well, the way I was saying, my line is that it gets you the extra 2 damage this turn, but the other way of holding Huntress obviously works a lot better in the longer game because it allows you to then imbue to get a bigger threat, which is probably better in the end because, well, being able to take out, say, like a Kenner or something as a surprise is probably better than getting in for an extra 2 damage this turn.
Interesting. Ambivalent did not fire off the Clan Tactic there. I don't know if they snuffed out the bubble shield. There's a pause there, but you have the power open. You can't do anything else with it. You have the Clan Tactic. You have a 4/4 flyer that you can't answer. So interesting to not at least try the Clan Tactic there, unless like I said, they know the bubble shield's there. But even then, I mean, you gonna have it the whole game.
I agree that that maybe they should have just gone for it, but I do know Ambivalent probably knows about the bubble shield. They've seen enough pauses, enough opportunities where the opponent might have wanted to use a combat trick instead, say like an Argos technique or something. So I think Ambivalent knows that this last card hand is bubble shield. They're playing around it for better or worse. And it looks like we're going to. I think is this the.
Oh, so this is
game
Bava
2, right?
In chat, just Bava in chat says that Crafty Occultist was the one that discarded Kenna. All right, now Ambivalent Thoughts firing off the Clan Tactic this time, but as we mentioned, there goes the bubble shield to stop that.
Does Ambivalent have another thing in hand?
They have a Vicious Overgrowth and a Flash Fry, but not going to take it out.
That's game 2, right?
Yeah, ChickenArise going to take that one 2-0 over number 7 and Ambivalent Thoughts. ChickenArise going to go to 4-0, and that's all but going to lock them for top 8. That's going to be a pretty good start at this point. So congratulations, ChickenArise, starting off 4-0.